Esposito says she has to move out of her home after self-financing her movie set in Brooklyn and Staten Island. In sports tonight, Knicks host the Nuggets. 10-10 wins AccuWeather says some patchy clouds this evening, low 19 degrees. Sunshine tomorrow, high 32. We're going to get that update from Brian Thompson in just a moment. Wins News Time 541 from the Mercedes-Benz of Edison.com Traffic Center. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Greg Rice.
It's still very, very messy in Brooklyn. We had emergency construction on the outbound Gowanus just past the Prospect. Now that is gone, but they do emergency construction during rush hour. They do some damage, which is still very much part of the ride. Westbound BQE awful from the Long Island Expressway all the way through Brooklyn to the Prospect Expressway. Eastbound's tough from the Prospect to the Brooklyn Bridge again from Tillery Street all the way on up to the Grand Central Parkway. Westbound belt out of Queens, a struggle from Sunrise Highway over to Lefferts Boulevard because of an earlier collision.
Ooh, it's really cold out here, guys. Be careful. Especially if you're in the New York metropolitan area.
To the upper and lower. The West Side Highway, yeah, it's slow from the 70s through the water treatment plant, but everything else is worse. Looking at the Lincoln Tunnel into the city, about 15 to 20 minutes. 20 out from 11th. Stay with 9th Holland Tunnel. It's about 15 minutes out of town. Inbound Skyways mess. Newark Bay is better. Clearview Throgsneck combination, best of it by far. Across the Upper East River, Garden State Parkway northbound starting to suffer out of Clark all the way on up towards the area of Newark. The New Jersey Turnpike northbound out of Woodbridge. It's going to be a little more money, but it's going to be well worth it tonight. Greg Rice, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
The 30-degree temperatures we've had the past couple of days are about to end with a crash. AccuWeather says this weekend could bring the most dangerous cold of the season. Meteorologist Brian Thompson is here keeping us up to date on what's to come. Brian.
Lori, it has not been quite as cold for the past few days. We've at least seen temperatures closer to the freezing mark, but things are going to change again as we head into the weekend. Arctic air is again heading our way. A dangerously cold stretch of weather over the weekend, especially with the wind that is really going to pick up this time around. It will arrive with some snow, which could accumulate a coating to an inch Friday night for most places, maybe up to 1 to 3 inches across Suffolk County. But then the wind and the cold become the big stories this weekend as temperatures drop through the teens on Saturday. AccuWeather real field temperatures will drop as low as 10 to 20 below zero into Saturday night as winds gust over 40 miles per hour at times and highs still stuck in the teens Sunday. Lori?
Mayor Mamdani announced a 17th death amid this cold. And the city council now has questions. Lawmakers will hold an oversight hearing on Tuesday into the administration's response to the weather. Councilmember Oswald Feliz of the Bronx plans to ask some of those questions and raise just how policies are being implemented.
Talk about the systems that we have in place. We obviously no longer have the rules related to homeless sweeps. Rules that would have triggered an NYPD response, but also a response from the Department of Social Services.
Mayor Mamdani says the response has been a full all-hands-on-deck approach.
Mayor Mamdani warning New Yorkers to take care that the extreme cold isn't going away.
These are also some of the coldest conditions that the city has faced in its recorded history.
The deep freeze continues. The city council will hold hearings to examine the administration's response to the extreme conditions. Will they ask about problems with 311 response to homeless reporting?
We are continuing to follow up to make sure that these are the operations that are operating at the best possible level.
There have been several reported instances of glitches and hangups trying to get through. Julia Papa, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Outdoor dining may not be high on your list in the winter or on the list for some neighborhoods at all, but some city lawmakers are putting it on their list.
Outdoor dining could be coming back year-round. That is, if the city council allows it. Council Speaker Julie Menin has proposed a bill to bring it back.
We are going to fix the outdoor dining program and make it year-round. So these measures are going to help small businesses survive.
The way things currently are, the outdoor sheds are only allowed from April through November. Executive Director and founder of New York City Hospitality Alliance, Andrew Ridgie, says it could make all the difference in helping businesses.
Outdoor dining saved thousands and thousands of restaurants and 100,000 plus jobs and brought New Yorkers together and was a major success.
Mary Lynn Buckley, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Governor Hochul has picked a running mate for her re-election bid. Former New York City Council Speaker Adrienne Adams is now on the ticket after Hochul formally ditched incumbent Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado. Delgado is running against Hochul in the Democratic primary. Adams, who's from Queens, could help Hochul with downstate voters. Hochul released a statement that said in part, "Together, We're going to continue investing in public safety, bringing costs down, and making the state a place where all families can thrive. Hochul is expected to face Republican Bruce Blakeman, the Nassau County executive, in the general election. You may have seen AI-generated images online of Mayor Mamdani as a child and Jeffrey Epstein. If you haven't, these fake images show Mamdani along with his mother, filmmaker Mira Nair, and the convicted sex offender. They originated on X, on an account labeled as a parody, but the mayor isn't laughing.
It is incredibly difficult to see images that you know to be fake, that are patently photoshopped and AI generated, and yet can reach across the entirety of the world in an era of misinformation.
The fake images were posted on Friday after the Justice Department released its latest batch of Epstein files. Has your car taken a hit in this weather? The lingering snow and ice bringing a lot of business to mechanics in our area.
All-wheel drive can quickly become no-wheel drive.
It could look like not a big obstacle, but once you're in it, you're pretty much stuck.
Brooklyn mechanic Anthony Canizero is talking about parking over inches of ice and snow.
So when you go over, you may be able to get over the ice, but then when you back up or move forward, it could get snagged.
Car repair shops are seeing all kinds of damage from snow and ice. Joe Sandarciero at Red's Garage in Westchester.
Dust shield or belly shield underneath where the engine is, that keeps the engine from debris kicking up. Those seem to come off. They're only held up by little plastic clips.
And spinning tires can blow a transmission. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
President Trump may once again lose his bid to have his criminal hush money conviction thrown out. A federal judge appears poised to rule against Trump, saying his lawyers were using legal maneuvers that amounted to taking 2 bites out of the apple, and that the president's legal team waited too long. Trump was convicted of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, but his lawyers want the case moved to federal court, where he could have the case thrown out on presidential immunity grounds. Officials in Fulton County, Georgia, want the 2020 election files taken by the feds returned.
FBI agencies, ballots, voter rolls, and other documents. President Trump has claimed without evidence that widespread voter fraud in that heavily Democratic county cost him Georgia in his 2020 election loss to Joe Biden. Fulton County Chairman Rob Pitts says of the ballots,
they've been reviewed, they've been scrutinized, they've been audited, hand recounted, and everything else you can imagine. The results are always the same.
It says even if Trump had won Georgia, he still would have lost the presidency.
It's correspondent Michael Wallace. St. John's University has suspended its partnership with U.S. Customs and Border Protection to train students for careers in Homeland Security. The decision pauses the program after an outcry on campus by faculty, students, and alumni. The partnership was first announced last June. In a statement to 1010 Wins, the school said after constructive, mission-focused conversations with U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the decision was made to suspend in advance of the one-year renewal the academic